guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're back with another teacher who decided to assault a student. I genuinely don't like making claims like, oh, this is happening more often or it's at an all-time high. I think it's probably that we're just giving it more awareness now, that people are talking about it more. But genuinely, I'm overwhelmed by the amount of reports coming out back to back about a series of different teachers who assault their students. Obviously, I know that this happens, but I think it's crazy how back to back, like I said, this has been. Every day that I check crime news, because I do check every single day, it feels like it's almost every day now. The one thing that I'm not happy about, because I wish these crimes didn't happen, but I do think it's important to be aware that women pedophiles exist, so the fact that it's being reported is important. But obviously, I wish there was no report to be made. I wish there was no crime committed. Middle school teacher accused of sexually abusing teen at her home, including while her own child was present. Louisiana teacher Eloria Silva, I'm gonna just call her Silva from now on, I don't know how to pronounce that name, allegedly used her middle school email account to initiate an inappropriate relationship with a teen. Is it just me, or the fact that she used her middle school email account leaves an extra level of creepiness? A middle school teacher has been arrested on sex crime charges for allegedly sexually abusing a teenager multiple times while her own child was around. Silva, 34, turned herself into authorities on Thursday, according to local outlets. It was the end result of an investigation between the Zachary Police Department and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, according to the police department. Silva was charged Thursday with indecent behavior with a juvenile, carnal knowledge of a juvenile, oral sexual battery, and 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile. Investigators allege Silva initiated contact with a 15-year-old boy by emailing him at his school address using her own school email, according to an arrest warrant. They then switched to using personal email accounts so the school could not track their emails. The teacher allegedly sent naked photos and videos of herself to the student. She also allegedly sexted him, sending him a text indicated she wanted to have sexual intercourse with him. It's not clear if the teenager was ever a current or former student of hers. Obviously, morally, this is bankrupt. It's morally bankrupt. It's creepy. It's inappropriate. It's disturbed, depraved. A whole list of other words that I'm gonna spare. Even on the basic logistical level, okay? We already know that morally this is incorrect, but let's remove the moral layer for a second. Just logistically. You are emailing a student, so you are leaving a paper trail of your interactions. And how, like, why do you expect to get away with that? Like, that's what I just don't understand. Now, thankfully, this person's a dumbass on top of being depraved, so we got them. But I genuinely don't understand how pedophiles, especially these recent cases with female teachers, we've seen that they use social media typically to contact their victims. And I just don't understand how they don't realize that that is leaving a whole ass paper trail. I genuinely don't know how they think they're gonna get away with that. I don't know if it's just complete stupidity or if they just have this false sense of security, this false sense of confidence, if they bank on the fact that they're women and people will see them as, you know, these little fragile beings that could never possibly be depraved fucking weirdos.
I really don't understand.
Also, and I say this with pretty much every single pedophile case we cover, especially with teachers, since they're so surrounded by minors, especially in her case because she does teach minors, I wonder how many other people might have been victimized, maybe to a lesser extent, but nonetheless, I wonder how many other victims there are, because it's hard for me to believe that you just have this creepy fucking want for a 15-year-old and before then never had you ever given in to this depraved behavior. I'm also curious about that. She then allegedly sexually abused him 8 or 9 times at her home over the summer of 2019. Silva's own child was allegedly at the home during each encounter, police said. I don't know how a person can think it's okay to be with a minor, period. That's obvious. But I genuinely, on top of that, don't understand how you have your own whole ass kid. You have a kid, but you do that to somebody else's kid. I think that there would be more empathy as a parent so that you know that you would protect your child at all costs and you would never want them to be abused. and yet you do that to someone else. The cognitive dissonance there, I'm confused. I don't understand. And I'm not saying having a child automatically makes you empathetic. There are plenty of parents who are monsters. We've seen it. However, I really have such a difficulty processing the fact that you're gonna have your kid at home with you, but then you're gonna be like, let me invite over this 15-year-old so I can abuse them. Because I was wondering, you know, like, how did neighbors not think it was weird that a 15-year-old was going over to her house? But then again, she could say she was tutoring him. He could have been babysitting her kid. I don't know how old her kid is. There are reasons why it wouldn't necessarily be suspicious, depending on the time of day, I suppose. Silva was a science teacher at Northwestern Middle School. The school did not immediately respond to Oxygen.com's request for comment. Zachary School's superintendent, Scott DeVilliers, told WAFB in a statement that when allegations surfaced, the school reported it to law enforcement and placed the employee on administrative leave. No one is covering up anything nor sweeping anything under the rug. We're following the law and I'm unable to comment beyond this information. Silva's bond has been set at $225,000. It's not clear if she has an attorney who could comment on her behalf. There could be other possible alleged victims too, police suggested. Detectives are requesting that parents of students who were in contact with Silva to talk with their kids. They urge to contact Zachary police detectives at their phone number. I will leave the phone number in the description. So I have to say, one thing that genuinely creeps me the fuck out is that she was using her middle school email. So I'm gonna re-explain it, voicing over this part, because the way I explained it originally in the video makes next to no sense. A bitch was tired. But essentially, it's like the use of her school email, which is a middle school, is alarming to me because either she compartmentalized and tried to pretend that she wasn't using her work email to contact a student who very well could have been her student and didn't see a problem with that. I genuinely hope there aren't other victims, though it's hard for me to believe that there wouldn't be other victims, or at least other people she was inappropriate with. Whether something actually ended up happening is a different story. I wouldn't be surprised if she had been inappropriate with other students, and I don't understand how someone with a child can do that and not see the issue, especially with their own child at home. Like, does that not disgust you? Like, how do you live with yourself being an abuser, first of all? A child abuser, no less. But aside from that, having your own kid at home when that's happening, that just adds an extra layer of disgust for me. One thing I'm concerned about, and I'm sorry if this is like really bitchy, but what I am concerned about is that she's conventionally attractive. Let me put a picture of her here. Let's remember what happens to women who are conventionally attractive when they're in trouble for sex-related crimes. I remember one of the prior cases I'd covered where it was, again, a teacher. In the article, the journalist was like describing how her hair fell on her shoulders or like how it fell on her face. It was some Twilight ass shit. Frankly, I was so bewildered at the fact that anyone cares. Like, girl, I don't care about her hair. Like, I really could not give less of a fuck of what kind of hair she has. She's an abuser, okay? And I feel like that happens a lot with female criminals. Like, I do not remember ever reading an article where a man is the criminal and the journalist being like, his gray hair was swept to the side. It's like, bitch, the fuck? I don't care. I really don't care. It's one thing to say that someone looks regretful or sad or something about their emotion, because that has something to do with the case, because if they regret it, I mean, still go to jail because you're a child abuser, but it's pertinent. What kind of hair you have is not pertinent. And I really hope that this person isn't let off because they're conventionally attractive or seen as not dangerous or seen as, you know, like the boy should have enjoyed it because she's like pretty attractive, which we all know is a garbage argument because abuse is abuse. It can't be attractive. It's abuse. Anyway, sorry, I kind of went off there, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you think she's gonna get very little time like I do, because that seems to be a trend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.